In this video, we're going to take a look at how we can turn simple text designs into fashion or retail style looks that we see on the shelves in the retail stores very easily working in CorelDRAW. And we'll be working with some really powerful tips and tricks and techniques you've probably never seen before that you'll be able to apply to a lot of the different projects that you work on. You can really do these in a matter of minutes once you get these techniques down. As I've often said, it's really important that we're able to design sort of at the retail or fashion level, or what we see coming off the shelves in the retail stores. We really want our clients to feel like they're getting fashion from us. People take a lot of pride in what they wear, and I've gone over this in video after video after video, but even our own screen printing shop, I can't tell you what a difference it makes and how it's helped us to grow. This session we'll be working with a Gildan comp, and you can actually get these from your providers like Sancor, etc. You can get these kind of comp t-shirts, and we'll see how to set one of these up. We'll also be working with a texture here, and we got this for free from Bitbox, and you can find all kinds of free textures across. You can see many different watercolor type textures here. And we'll actually be working with this one, so I'll just right click on that and select copy image. I'll go back into CorelDRAW and I'll paste that in. I could also copy and paste my model image back into work with, but we'll use this one here for the sake of the tutorial. The first thing I want to do is just kind of take a look at this, evaluate and clean up. I can see I've got some color in here, and I'm not going to want that. And what I can actually see here is just some slight yellow here in the background. I want to get rid of that. So I'll go ahead with this selected, and I'll just go to Effects, Adjust, and I'll go to my channel mixer. And I'll click on Reset here just so you can see how I'd set this up. I'm going to be in my color mode here. I'm going to change this to CMYK. I'm going to go through my output channels here one at a time and set them back to 0. So this is cyan. Here's the cyan channel. Click here and that'll change that to 0. I'll go to magenta, do the same thing. Click on the magenta channel, back to 0. Then I'll come down here to the yellow, back to 0. Now you can see that that yellow faded out. Now you might not be able to see that in the video, but that did get rid of that, and I'll select OK. And now this is just black and white. Next thing I want to do with this is just rotate a little bit maybe here, just make a different look with it here. Go ahead and duplicate this. I'm going to go to my transparencies and start setting up this file for a filter effect. And for my transparency, I'll go to uniform, and then I'm going to go to multiply. I'm going to slide this all the way back, and you can see that these kind of blend in now here. So go ahead and rotate this, maybe something like this here. A little overlay there won't hurt anything. Go ahead and duplicate this again. I might resize this and rotate it and just put it right in here for the sake of the effect. Actually, I think I'll just go ahead and kind of make this straight here like that, and then resize over that way and make that even a little bit bigger there. And just bring that effect up. And we're just going for a simple watercolor effect. Then I'll go ahead and select all three of these, and I'll go ahead and duplicate these, and then I'll mirror these horizontally, and then I can mirror these also vertically. And you can see the effect I'm starting to get there for the watercolor. Go ahead and select all of these bitmaps here, and I'll go to Bitmap, Convert to Bitmap, RGB 150 dpi. I don't need a transparent background. Anti-aliasing is okay, and select OK. So now I've got my filter file set up here, and I can work with this later. Go ahead and move this off to the side. Next thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and select my tiger's text here. Just bring this over, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger while I'm working with it. Kind of two size, 9 by 12, maybe a little bit smaller. To start out, I'll go ahead and fill that with a black. And what I want to do is I want to replace the O here with a heart, kind of create a heart shape that goes in here, just to kind of offset the design, add some elements to it. Now to create my heart, that's going to be very easy. I'm going to work with shaping tools. I'll come over here to the polygon tool. I've got this set to 5 points. I'm just going to go ahead and start creating a heart shape with this by creating this polygon shape here with 5 points. Go ahead and get my pick tool, and I'll mirror that vertically. Then I'll come over here and click on Convert to Curves. Then I'll come over here beneath the pick tool and get my shape tool. I'll take this node, select it, hold down Control to constrain it, and then just bring that right down to the center. Right there. Now I'm going to lasso these two nodes here, left click, hold down, drag, release. I've got those set, and just hit the delete key. I'll do the same thing here. Now if I select one of these, I'm going to get straight, it won't be a curve. So I want to make sure I get at least 2 nodes selected. Select both of these, delete, do the same thing down here, delete, same thing down here, select and delete, and there I have a perfect heart shape made very quickly and very easily. I can resize this and then bring this over here to where this love is, or the O in the love, and just put that right in position there. The next thing I can do is I can go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead with this selected, just hit Control K and break that text apart. I'll take this LOVE, I'll right click on this, break curve apart. And then I want to click again on break curve apart, and you can't see that up here. I'll go ahead and right click here again and break curve apart, and there it is right up there above at the top, but you can see it, break that apart again. Now I've got these circles here, I can just delete these. Now that's the heart, I don't want that. I'll hit Control Z. I can just cut that for a minute, lasso the O, delete that, and then paste that back in. Fill that with a black, zoom in, and see if that's just about to the right size there. And we'll bring that down just so that's all lined up. Maybe move that up a little bit and get that in position. Now everything's all centered up, and I've got the heart for the O. I'll go ahead here and I'll just go ahead and combine everything. The next thing I'm going to do to create my effect is I'm going to go ahead and convert this to a bitmap. So I'll go to bitmap, convert to bitmap. I'm going to go with 300 DPI RGB this time. Don't need a transparent background, and select OK. The next thing I'm going to do is kind of roughen these edges up. So I'm going to go to bitmap. And actually before that, there's one thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and inflate this so I've got some room around the edges. And hit cancel there. Go to view and wireframe just so we can see this. And we can see that our edge of the bitmap box is right on the edge of the T, and we're not going to be able to get any effect there. So to address that, what we want to do is we'll go to bitmaps, and we're going to go to inflate bitmap, and we'll go to manually inflate, and we'll just key in here, say 120. Go ahead and select this and 120. Select OK. Now you can see that I expanded the box that the bitmap is contained in, so when I apply my effect, I'll get my effect on the edges of my text also. I'll go back to view and enhanced, and here I'm going to use the same type of effect I used before. I'll go to bitmaps, I'll go to distort, and I'm going to go to displace, and I'll zoom out, and we'll just move this here and zoom in and hit preview. And you can see we got this at 2 and 2, and that offsets that. Now I can adjust this if I wanted more effect. I could go with like 6 and 6, and you can see that's much more of an effect, but I'll go with 2 and 2 for now because I just want a soft effect on that. Maybe 3 and 3. I think that'll work pretty good. And that's just to roughen that up and grunge that up a little bit, kind of like setting us up for the watercolor effect. I'm going to go to bitmaps again, and I'm going to go to creative, and I'm going to go to scatter, and that's set at 2 and 2 also. I actually like to look at the before and afters here when I'm doing these, and I can see real close. And all you can do, you can left click to zoom in, right click to zoom out. You can also use your mouse wheel, and you can pan around in here and get a real nice preview. And 2 and 2, I'm going to go with, let's say 4 and 4. Select OK, and now that'll process and that'll be ready to go. Now the trick that I'm going to use here is I'm going to use a transparency lens on top of my text to get the watercolor look. Very easy to do. Go ahead and rotate this because I'm going to put it on top of all of my text. Bring this down here, and I'll just size this out a bit just so it looks like everything's going to be in there. And I can just cut this and paste this. It'll be on top of my text. I'm going to come over here to my interactive tools, and I'll come down to transparency. I'm going to go to uniform, and then I'm going to select screen. And I'm going to bring this all the way back to 0. And you can see that effect. Now what happens with the screen is that wherever there's black, whatever's behind the screen lens is allowed to come through. So we can see the watercolor effect there. Now if I want to put more effect in there, I could copy that, paste that back in, go back to my transparency tool, left click and adjust that, and you can see I can really dial that effect in. And I could also say with the second one, resize that and move that around and rotate that and really change that effect to a nice watercolor effect. Now with all that done, I'll go ahead and select everything here. I'm not going to want this text. I'll lasso again with that lasso there. get everything but the text. And then I'll take this and I'll go to bitmaps, convert to bitmaps, 300 dpi again, select OK, and process that. Now that's going to be kind of big because of all the files that I have in there, so it'll take just a second to process. And then I'm going to go over here to my crop tool, and I'll just go ahead and crop in on this text, just so I'm not dealing with such a big bitmap, and we'll crop that. Now with that set to go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my advanced tools. I'm going to convert that to a monochrome bitmap. So I'll go to Simple Steps Raster 1.2, and I'm going to convert that to a perfect monochrome. So I'll come over here to my POSEPs once this loaded, and I'll click on Revert. Then I'll select this again and I'll click on Convert. And I'm going to get a warning here, but that's okay. And we'll let that process. And that's going to take that out to Photo Paint and make a perfect monochrome bitmap that we can then apply a spot color to. I won't need this anymore. Now you'll notice if I right click, I can change the color of the graphic. Now if I left click, I'm going to get a color in the background. I don't want that. So if I left click up here in the X, I'll make that transparent again. Next, I want to go ahead and set up my comp here with my model that I have from Gildan. So I'm going to use lenses and I'm going to split these channels again here. So to start out, I'm going to go to Effects, Adjust, and Channel Mixer. I'll zoom out here. And I can click on preview, and I can see this is already set to the black from what I had it set before. But I'll go ahead and reset this just so you can see this again. I'll go to CMYK. To get just my black, I'm going to start with the cyan channel from the CMYK, set that to 0. Same thing with the magenta. Same thing with the yellow. Preview, I've got just my black, and I'll select OK. Now here I want to get my color. So I'll do the same thing. I'll go to Effects, Adjust, and I'll go to the Channel Mixer. And I'm just left clicking to zoom out here in the preview. And I'll go ahead and click on Reset. And this time I'll go to the CMYK for the color model. I'll come down to just the black channel, set that to 0, and that'll remove all the black in the image, and select OK. I'll take my graphic here for the Live, Love, Tigers, Cheer and set that up here above what is just the color in the image where I had removed the black. And I'll take this black and I'll just duplicate this on top. I've got that selected. I'll hold down Shift. And I can hit my C. I want to make sure I've got both of these selected. Hit my C and my E key. Center these, and then I'll change this because this is on top of my cheer. Or it looks like it is, but actually it's not. And I did a convert. I want to go to my Object Manager here. Yeah, my converted is down here. So I'm going to bring this down under, which bitmap is this? I can see this here in my Object Manager. So I'll bring this left click, just hold down, bring this beneath that bitmap so we can't see it anymore. I'll take this converted layer here and I'll just go ahead and delete that because I won't need that layer anymore. Now with this image selected, I'm going to go back to my transparency tool. I'm going to come back and change this to uniform, and then I'm going to go to subtract and slide this all the way back to 0. And here I've got kind of like a model comp set up with my watercolor text effect set up that I could send out to my client. So here in a matter of just a few minutes working in the tutorial, I've set up a really nice effect that is really going to look a lot better than just flat vector, working with some assets that I got from the internet. And now I've got a fashion look that I can send out to my client for a comp, and that's going to give me a really big advantage working with even things as simple as text designs in my local market. So quick tutorial, simple watercolor effect, really easy to do. You know, if you wanted to do something, you could crop out the heart and make that red and this a hot pink or something like that and really kind of dress up the design and set that up as an upsell. But we'll go ahead and wrap here and we'll see you in our next video.